Hello, my name is Laquita Watson. This is not a real counseling session. This is an assignment for my cognitive behavior class. I'm going to interview Miss Reba, and we're going to start at this point. Hello, Reba. How you doing?
Fine, and you?
Okay, welcome back to your next session. How have your week been?
Very good.
Okay.
I was excited to get back.
Okay, well, great. So how's things been going? You know, the last session we identified a problem that you was having with your anxiety, with driving across town or to another area that's unfamiliar to you. So how has it been going for you in that area?
It's been going well. I made a trip, and I didn't panic. I just did what I had to do, and I felt happy about it. I felt good, no being afraid or nothing. I did good.
Okay, well, great job. I'm glad that you had that experiment, of being able to travel and not having that attack. So what we're going to do today, we're going to just kind of look at some problematic thoughts that create these fears or create the anxiety that you have, and then also we're going to actually look at a technique that we're going to practice today to where, to help you to deal with that anxiety as well. Okay, do you have any questions before we get started? Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at, there are several clues that problematic thoughts may present. Meaning, to be aware of the thoughts in our mind help us to understand that, okay, if I got behaviors that are causing problems for me, then there are some clues that can help me to identify that these are problematic thoughts. And when I say problematic thoughts, that means it's a problem for me, okay, because it's creating problems for me in my life. Okay, so we're going to look at the number one. There's three of them that we're going to discuss. Number one is you feel a sudden shift towards negative emotions. Okay, so if you driving along and you feeling, relaxed and calm, then all of a sudden fear comes upon you out of nowhere. That's a sudden shift with negative emotions. So therefore, I need to pay attention to what is it you need to pay attention to? Your thoughts.
My thoughts.
Yes, because there's a problematic thought if you have a sudden shift towards negative emotion. So if I'm rolling down the street and I'm feeling calm, and then all of a sudden fear come upon me, I need to figure out, okay, why is this fear here? There's a thought that has created this fear. Okay? It says if we pay attention at these times, we're likely to discover thoughts that are driving the emotions to shift. So do you understand that? Thoughts that drive the emotions to shift. So when you have a shift in your feeling towards a negative emotion, if you begin to pay attention to what you're thinking about, you'll be able to identify what thoughts are driving that emotion. Okay? The next clue is you can't seem to shake a negative feeling. That feeling just won't go away. That's a problematic thought. If I'm just constantly feeling anxious or I'm constantly feeling nervous about something, I need to take a moment and think about what I'm thinking about, because there's a problematic thought that's taking place that's creating these emotions or driving these emotions. Okay, you understand that one? The next one is you're struggling to act in line with your goals. Maybe you can't get yourself to follow through on plans you've made or keep finding reasons not to face your fears. Do you understand that? Maybe going to the store. You want to go, but because you're struggling to act in line with your goal to get out today, to go to Walmart or wherever you may decide you want to go, but you're struggling with that, then that's a sign that there's problematic thoughts that are taking place. And until you identify those thoughts, then you're not going to be able to change the emotions. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far about what I just talked about?
No.
Okay. So now also I wanted to kind of bring up thinking errors. You know, there's so many thinking areas that we could talk about today, but based on what you shared with me last week, there are two thinking areas that I want to just bring up today to kind of show you how our thinking can affect what we do. And when I say thinking errors, that means that there's an error or a problem with my thinking. Okay, one of the thinking errors is black and white thinking. Okay, it says seeing things in extreme terms, meaning there's no in-betweens. I either see it, like in one extreme, or I see it in another extreme, which causes these emotions to arise in my life. Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go back to thinking about like that drive, give me a thought now. What are you thinking like when you're driving in traffic, or when you hadn't even got into the traffic? It's just the thought of you driving.
It's the thought of me just getting in the traffic, not really knowing where I'm going, the direction. Someone could have told me the direction, but then at that time, I'm so intense and panicked and afraid I wouldn't know which way to go or to think, to stop, to really think, what did they tell me?
Okay.
Which direction to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes it, and it makes sense. What I want to know is, like, when you're preparing to go somewhere, and I want you to just take a moment and just think for a moment. What thought are you thinking, like, when you're getting ready? Even you got the directions, you got, where you where you want to go, but what thought are you thinking that maybe keep you from doing it or following through with that?
I'm going to get lost. I'm going to go the wrong way.
Oh.
And go to another town, and I'll get where I can't be able to turn around to get back where I was.
Okay, so that's kind of like, can identify with black and white. It's like to the extreme. You hadn't even got on the highway yet,
Right.
but you're already thinking, I'm gonna get lost.
Right.
Immediately, that's driving that thought of what? That feeling of what? It brings on what?
The anxiety.
The anxiety.
Yeah.
So what if you flip that thought to something positive? What can you tell yourself?
It's going to be, I tell myself like I did the other day when I made my trip.
Okay.
It's going to be all right. You can do it.
Oh.
You can't get lost in this place. You can do it. If you have to pull over and ask somebody direction, you can do it.
Okay.
But I didn't have to pull over. I just did it.
Just
I felt good and a relief,
You see the difference?
Yeah.
Based on what you told yourself, which triggered positive thoughts. I can do this. I'm going to get through this. And with the positive thoughts came what? Positive feelings. You felt good.
Right.
But when you have the negative thoughts, it brings on those negative feelings.
Yes.
Okay? All right, so that's great. I'm glad that you practice. And as you keep practicing it on a regular, it's going to become a habit to where you can replace the negative with positive. Okay? So the other thinking area is emotional reasoning. Answering our feelings convey useful information. So we have emotional reason. We reasoning with our emotions. Basically, you sitting and telling yourself, "I'm gonna get lost." Now your emotions are starting to reason with what you're thinking. Oh man, I'm gonna get lost. And then I found myself not even going nowhere, not knowing that I can do this. I will do this. So it's a matter of just thinking, what I want to happen. Let me think that versus thinking what I don't want to happen.
Right.
Okay? Any questions?
No.
No questions? So what we're going to do here today, we're going to do a breathing technique. Because it says being able to manage anxiety is important. And so one technique is to train the breath. Okay? Our breath is closer connected to our anxiety, whether we realize it or not. Our breathing is connected to our anxiety. It says it's slow and even when we're at ease, and fast and sharp when we're afraid. Do you believe that?
Yes.
So when I'm calm, my breathing is what?
Just calm and even. Just even. You relax.
Okay. But when you're anxious, how is your breathing?
It's you like you're palpitating.
Okay.
You know, and your body tenses up, and you just feel pain. You think you feel, at least I do.
Okay.
Think I feel pain somewhere that it's not until I reach my destination. Then that's when it
Calms down.
relax again.
Okay. And so basically that's what we want to pay close attention to, these thoughts, how it affects our, emotions. And we're going to pay attention to our breathing. It said you can feel the contrast right now. So let's try it. Taking a series of fast, deep breaths in and out. So I want you to sit here and take maybe 5 fast breaths in and out.
Like this.
Yeah, that's it. In and out. Fast, deep breaths, in and out. How did you feel doing that?
It was terrifying. Something just felt like it was weighing me down to try to
Okay.
do those fasts like that. Yeah, very terrifying.
Okay. And now, let's take breath in slowly, in and out. Let's do 5, slowly in and out. And it says even more slowly. Just take 5 deep, slow breaths in and out. Okay, so how did that feel?
I felt more relaxed, more lighter,
Okay.
like nothing to hold me down.
Okay. And so that's a good technique you can use also, like when you're starting to feel anxious, say, let me just take a minute and let me get control of my breath. I may just want to take some deep breaths and let it out and relax myself before I do anything. Okay, calm, get in that calm state. Because it says when we're anxious, we often are not aware that our breathing is reflecting our anxiety. Okay? Once you become more aware of the quality of your breath, then you can practice more relaxed breathing. So this week I want you to kind of start looking at, if you start feeling anxious, start paying attention to your breathing. And then if you notice your breathing is more faster and, more rapid, then take a moment and practice those 5 slow, deep breaths. Okay? You have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Well, this concludes our session, and I'm happy to know that you're, taking what we're doing and practicing and getting good results. So I just want to keep encouraging you to keep, moving forward with that. And until our next session, have a blessed day.
You too.
This concludes our counseling session.